So we are going to do John Malecki rating 1-star tools. So let's see how these 1-star Home Depot tools do.
Will it smoke? We don't know. 1-star reviews are starting to become one of my favorite pieces of literature on the internet, especially when you get gems like this. We found 6 tools with absurd 1-star reviews on HomeDepot.com, and I bought them. We're gonna try them out. Let's go. Up first, we got a tool that I already own, and that's gonna be this M18 battery-powered heat gun. Milwaukee makes some of the best tools on the planet. I'm a fan, lots of fans out there. To see this with as many 1-star reviews as it has had me baffled, but then I remembered my own personal usage of the tool, and it reminded me of this review from our friend Robot Builder, where he says, if you want a level of heat equivalent to the breath of someone whispering sweet nothings in your ear, this tool is for you.
This is what you want.
However, the reality of it is working as a heat gun, it is highly disappointing. It can barely melt shrink wrap, and the battery quickly dies before the job is even close to being.
That's not great for a Milwaukee tool. Like, I'm not a tool person, but I'm familiar with Milwaukee tools, and I've always, like, whenever I've heard about, you know, power tools spoken of in a positive light, there's like there's a couple that have always been there. It's, you know, Black & Decker's one. Who's the ones that are yellow? I forget the brand. That's yellow in color. Oh, chat, help me out. Oh, I forget the brand. DeWalt, thank you, DeWalt, yeah. So, Black & Decker, DeWalt, and Milwaukee are like the 3 brands that I always hear about when it comes to power tools, in terms of, like, what professionals like to use. DeWalt being the number 1. Snap-on, I hear that more with mechanics, J10. Craftsman is decent, yeah. And I know about Ryobi, but I've not heard when it comes to professionals. When it comes to professionals, yes, DeWalt and Milwaukee are probably the top 2 that I hear about from professionals. Makita, I have not heard too many people talk about Makita as much anymore. Black & Decker owns DeWalt. Okay.
Finish. Consistently throughout all of the reviews we saw, no heat, no heat, no heat, no heat, not enough heat, not enough heat.
I'd say bring the heat, but you don't seem to be able to do that.
And if I recall, I know this thing has piss poor heat, and I think Sam's breath might be warmer. So let's crack it open and check it out.
Wow.
The tool comes pertly packed. That's it. That's literally all it is. No battery. And this thing came in at an astounding $150 for this sucker.
Wait. $150 and it doesn't even come with a battery? Oh, that sucks. That alone would piss me off. If I'm buying a tool for $150 and I don't even get a battery, that would go right the fuck back to the store. If I bought one of these and I got it home and open it and it doesn't even come with a battery, I'd be taking it right back to the fucking store and be getting one. I'm like, no, I want to buy one that actually comes with its own fucking battery.
We're going to go with an incredibly scientific approach here. Our review here claims that it is the equivalent of someone's warm breath. So obviously, we're going to bring in someone with warm breath. Sam, if you don't mind, breathe on my face, please, so that I might compare it to this heat gun that costs $150. I don't know why you'd be nervous. Have you never breathed on another man's face?
You make it weird.
Nah, nothing.
Wait. A window? Is that... The cordless ones don't come with batteries anymore? Seriously? Like, I know a lot of tools are, like, have universal batteries between them, but they seriously don't come with batteries anymore? That's a thing?
Cheer 100, I am back. Rough few hours, but now I am ready to chill.
Oh, that's good, Bigglesworth. You chill. Yeah, you would think that they came with at least one. Yeah, that is 100%. Now, the one thing I could see is with Milwaukee and DeWalt, is I guess they cater to the professional, And so maybe the company is trying to justify it by saying, well, all of our batteries are universal between all of our cordless tools, and the people buying these are professionals, so they're buying a whole bunch of them. And thus they're going to have the battery. That's the one rationale I could see these companies coming up with for not including a battery with their devices anymore, is especially like DeWalt Milwaukee, because they cater to the professional that buys a lot of them.
Yeah. Sam's going to breathe on this cheek. If you're not familiar, the beard accepts warmth like no other hair on the body. So this will be a very scientific test. Sam, if you may. Smells like aliquippa. Fairly warm.
Nice.
And it's only 10 a.m. Now for the heat gun. Smells like burning hair and considerably warmer.
You guys are weird.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The one I had of this years ago, I was just as disappointed as our dude robot builder here. Looking at it, you know, I used it in a couple applications. Heat shrink didn't work, right? On electrical heat shrink, it also didn't work. I needed to like thaw a frozen lock on a house. Don't ask why. It didn't work for that either.
Oh,
Got my
God.
little heat gun here. Let's see if we can spray this on some stuff. Sam doesn't know how to feel. This is a heat gun that we use on paint finishes and with epoxy and stuff like that. This one, obviously, we've never used it before. I just got it. We've got chunks of corian from our video coming out, might be out, I don't know, on the main channel where we were just building with it. Corian is a heat shrink, so it should suck up the heat pretty good.
You might make it malleable.
I am gonna say the heat gun that he's breaking out right here is bigger than this one. This thing is gonna crank out a lot more heat, and it's a plug-in, so it's a direct, you know, it's doing a direct electrical draw. I'm not gonna be at all surprised that this thing cranks out a lot more heat than a cordless battery one, because the amount of power this thing has to draw to do significant heat is way more than what the battery can do.
Ember, it isn't the size, it's how he uses it. Cheer 100.
Sure, Andrea. It's just, he can just keep telling himself that. And yeah, well, Raven, that's what I was saying. It's bigger, which means it has a larger, more robust motor in it.
Also, you could bend corian when you get it hot. Like
Thank you, Corian Master.
farewell now.
I'll run a stopwatch here. We'll do 30. Okay, this only has one speed for those that are curious. This has high and low. We'll do high. Ready? Go. Corian smells. You smell that?
Can you smell it?
Hot epoxy. Could just be the Genesis thingy here burning. And 30. We are looking at the center there, about 150 degrees. It's going down.
Okay.
Now it's down to 137. It's cooling off a little bit. We'll say 135 degrees to the Milwaukee and do the same thing. Now I'll even get closer. Man, a cordless heat gun that's actually good would be so awesome. Because I mean, there's a lot.
So you can hear it's not as powerful. You can literally hear it's nowhere even close to being as powerful as the corded heat gun.
Of times where I know people who use a heat gun in a construction application don't have a power outlet near them.
Yeah, it sounds incredibly
just
weak.
like any kind of cordless tool. 30, one more second for good measure. Okay, and we're looking at, what's that say? Almost 20 degrees lower, 107. I'll be honest, not as terrible as I was anticipating for like a one-star review, especially on a Milwaukee tool. I really don't.
Obviously not as good. It sounded weak, but he said that it's 120 degrees when he tested it. So, granted that the heat gun did 135, the cordless did 120. What is the average heat from a hairdryer? Well, yeah, Andrew, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, heat guns and even hairdryers, they're doing a direct AC draw from the wall. So they're able to generate more power through their motor. Whereas a battery, everything battery power is going to be less of a heat draw, because if it drew the proper amount of electricity to do it the same as their corded counterpart, the battery would get drained in like 5 seconds. So that's the problem. You know, the battery does not contain enough juice. Plus, it doesn't distribute the power into the device as efficiently as a direct AC Yeah, so a hair dryer, yeah, 145, 155, but it's also corded. So it's just, this is not the kind of, this is a tool that can't, it by its very design, can't perform well. Like, a drill is something different, an impact driver is something different. This is a heat gun. The amount of power that it has to draw cannot be done from a battery because of the battery capacity and the method that the battery is distributing energy to the tool itself. Yeah, it's physics EXE does not work this way.
Have a better test to do. Obviously, it was warmer than Sam's breath, negating our 1-star review. Comparable to a high mode plug-in one. I don't know what else you could expect from it. So 1-star review from the public, meh. John's gonna give it a 3.75. Definitely a decent tool.
I'd give it a
You're not
3.
gonna be like
Maybe a
melting
2.
things on the job site or moving around epoxy or something with it. But I definitely think they improved this based on consumer feedback since I got my original one like 5 years ago. So on to the next. Up next with some of my favorite reviews is this Ryobi 7¼ inch circular saw. Classic tool here. This thing pops a cord into the wall. Guys, remember that? When tools plugged into the wall? Insane. While I get it open, check out this review. Chelsea said that after 2 minutes, the trigger broke and the saw literally wouldn't shut off until she unplugged it.
Shit.
I'm laughing, but that is not laughable. That is terrifying, especially.
Can you imagine using a circular saw? The trigger sticks. It will not turn off, and you have to try and scramble and grab the cord and yoink it out of the wall and not slice yourself up. That's like lawsuit worthy. It's not bad. That is, I'm getting on the phone with a lawyer because this is dangerous. This is fucking dangerous.
If you're like actually running something like in material and the saw won't shut off, could be crazy dangerous. So packaging on it, pretty much par for the course. It came with a saw blade. We've been doing some stuff lately. It didn't come with saw blades. Chelsea said after she got this thing to stop running, she plugged it back in and it turned right on. The trigger immediately stopped working. So we had to try it.
I also like to live dangerously.
I think that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever read about a tool online. Shame on you, Ryobi. Now I will say this, I am not team anti Ryobi. They've done a great job, I think, of making tools affordable and in volume, right? You can get into a battery platform, you can get a bunch of stuff. That's not this tool. This is not part of their Ryobi 1 line, which is like their cordless tool line, I believe. All that being said, when I was getting started building, I had myself the blue Ryobis. If you owned a blue Ryobi back in the day and you're watching this video, please tell me about it down below. I would love to hear about your blue Ryobi tool.
For reference, chat, I do have a cordless drill at home for home project stuff, and it is a Black & Decker. So I do have a Black & Decker cordless drill. This has actually served me quite well for many years. I've been very happy with it. It has been perfectly suitable for all of my stuff around the house, and it's worked just fine. I think I've probably had it for at least 10 years. It's a very nice, thin drill.
Because they hold a spot near and dear to my heart. I think it was before TTI bought them and before they became part of like Milwaukee or Rigid and that whole family of tools. Do we have on-tool storage for this sucker? Here we go. That's a nice feature. There you go, Ryobi. So far, tool feels considerably better than the skill saw that we had in a previous video. Just saying, I don't know if that's a pretty low bar to set there.
Yeah,
the one was a track saw. We had a skill saw in some other video. I'll say for my girl Chelsea's review, real deep trigger action there. A couple of the other hilarious reviews that came with it. They all basically said how dangerous this thing was. The depth stop wouldn't work. The user manual was useless. Tools total garbage. They expected way more from Ryobi.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Sorry, Steve. They're not the lowest, but they're down there. Save your money and your project from burning down. I've had this saw for a while and recently took it out for cutting a single sheet of plywood, and before I could finish, it started smoking. Gotta love that. And you know I love a smoking tool. Let's get some plywood. Will the trigger work? Will it smoke? We don't know. We are plugged in. I will also say no ground. I don't know how many tools have grounds, but it always feels wobbly when it goes into a plug and doesn't have a ground. And moment of truth. Loud as hell, trigger didn't break. I gave it a good little
Okay,
I
that's
don't even
good.
know what you want to call that. A bunch of people said that the depth stop was trash, so we'll try that next. Here's the depth. You don't want to be cutting like crazy amount of blade hanging out underneath. That's never a good thing. See if we can follow a line. Protect those ears, protect those eyes. Here we go. All right, that doesn't want to stay. Keep going.
That's not good.
It shook itself out of square. So this is something I'd say is pretty garbage on here. Is I tightened this and then it loosened itself. If you look at the edges here, you can see this cut's not square. Way out of square. Fault that up to user error, give it another shot.
Okay, he didn't tighten
That
it
cut
enough.
was a lot better. You can still see though. See it deflecting at the end here? See how the blade kind of came in? I mean, I tightened that sucker down. You're not even close to square here. Decent. A circular saw is never going to give you like a perfect cut. This plate has a lot more play in it than you would like. Saw's pretty cheap. Let's just give it one more cut, 2 hands. I'm not cutting anything special here, and you can audibly hear the saw like bogging down. You don't want the blade deflecting at the end of the cut. Going back.
I don't know. Okay, I'm not a carpenter. Is the blade bogging down at the end of the cut a good thing, a bad thing, or neither? Because I would think you would want it to be consistently, it's bad. It's a very bad thing. So that means that the blade, if I'm understanding the physics correctly, that means that the blade is slowing down. Like, yeah, but the blade deflecting, I'm not familiar with the terminology. Thinking about it from a physics perspective, the blade is slowing down and thus has a chance of catching on something and not deflecting means bending. Struggling to keep it spinning, it's bending, it's going off square. Not optimal, but can't be accounted for. Okay, free citizen, thank you. Okay. So, it's not a good thing, but as our 3-year framing expert is saying, it can be accounted for. Okay.
To the reviews and what people are saying, there's comments about the depth, there's comments about like the mechanisms on it, tightening and loosening. It's not great, but it's not a 1-star tool. I'm gonna rate it 2.5. If you're in the market and you can afford it at $69, grab yourself one.
Chat, what do you think? 2.5 stars, or would you rate it slightly higher or lower than 2.5 stars? What do you think? I don't know. I mean, it's, where it's the potential deflecting part, I might say, I don't know. He's okay. 2 tops or I'm seeing 1.5, 2 stars, 0 stars. Kenito, stop it. Good for home project people, Revan. Excellent point. Yeah, like the Ryobi, this is not made for professionals. This would be made for someone that's doing home projects where that deflection at the end may not be of consequence. So for small, quick home jobs, I think it might be perfectly suitable. If that blade maintains, the fact that the blade was bogging down, meaning slowing down, that's the concern. Is the motor slowing down, and thus the blade slowing down? Is it going to catch on something and cause an issue? That would be my question. And Daga, thank you for the follow.
Get a couple cuts, who knows? Maybe it'll catch on fire and you can have a good story. Next tool. Up next, we've got a rigid sander here, and then I gotta be honest, some of the reviews I was reading for that jack stand, absolutely hilarious. One that I loved for the sander here was from this dude named Lonzo. And Lonzo said that he owns 30 rigid tools, and for the first time in his life, he was incredibly disappointed with this tool specifically. Lonzo, let's see if your disappointment was valid. This is a cordless sander, and I will say, Lonzo, I hope you just got a bad tool specifically, because nobody likes disappointment from their favorite tool brands, myself included. The packaging for this thing, pretty normal, super common tool. I actually like rigid tools. They're a bit clunky and bulky, but I've used a lot of them over the years. They tend to work really well. They get the job done. They're a little bit nicer than Ryobi. If you didn't know, I said it earlier, Ryobi, rigid, Milwaukee, they're all in by.
Okay. That comment that he was reading is that the sander did not rotate, that the sander did not spin, it only vibrated. That was the commenter's issue. does not turn in a circular motion, just vibrates. So that was that commenter's issue.
Done. They're a little bit nicer than Ryobi. If you didn't know, I said it earlier, Ryobi, Rigid, Milwaukee, they're all owned by the same company. But a review that I found hilarious, and we dug this all the way back from my birthday, May 26th in 2020. This comes from a gentleman named John, not this John. And he says he was disappointed in the sale price of this tool. There was a promo online that the tool was $20 off. It was selling at $219. The sale price today was $199. Through whatever emails and yada yada, he thinks he paid too much for the tool. In case you were wondering, this cost $79 today.
Wow.
So a lot of the poor reviews on this thing say the same thing. Destroys the battery, destroys the battery, destroys the battery.
Oh?
This gentleman, Davdi, 1438 here, he said that put a 4 amp hour battery fully charged on there. They got 5 minutes of the run time, and then put a 2 amp hour on there. You got another minute, and then another 2 amp hour on there, and got 1 more minute.
And another one.
7 total minutes of runtime, 3 batteries. You've got poor battery life, poor battery life. This tool's a lie. Batteries suck. That was from March 21st, 2024. That review about the battery. Supposedly something going on with this tool just crushes the battery. And then there's some comments out there about the actual sanding and the vibration of the tool and yada yada whatnot. So I've got a, how big is this bitch? 5 amp hour battery on here. It's got 3 of the 5 bars on it. Sorry, we don't have a full charge. We're going to sand this gorgeous piece of oak, a very common board. So we're just gonna hit it with like a generic sand, see how she does. Comes with some paper. Gotta love that. This is looking of the highest quality. Thank you, Rigid. Bulky.
That's a thick ass bar!
Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
What?
Joe, pick that up and turn it on. I'll spin it in the air. You feel the resistance? Isn't it weird?
Feels like it has something inside.
Yeah, it's like it's gyroscope. I don't know. Isn't that weird? Hold it in the air and just move it with your hand after you turn it on.
What he's feeling.
Turn your wrist. You feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I think see, I don't like how they don't have like a physical button on there either. You have to like tap it.
That button's kind of hidden. Here we go. It's so big.
That's what she said.
God damn it. He did it before I could do it. Son of a bitch. Yeah, it's the well, Revan, I kind of did too. I don't know, but yeah, it's the like if you pick up any object that has a high-speed motor running into it, like that's a palm-sized thing, you're gonna experience that. I found that before, not with sanders, but with just like other objects that have got a high-speed rotary motor moving in it, you're gonna get that gyroscopic effect. It's actually fairly dumb.
I don't know if it's the paper. This thing wants to run a lot. Like.
It's doing the work for you.
It's just moving the material everywhere, which creates vibration, and then it really pours sand. It's taking a lot of my strength. You shouldn't have to put a ton of pressure on a sander. And this one you really do.
Not that kind of object,
I definitely don't like that button. It's hard to hold. So a random orbit should orbit randomly. So it's not just turning, which is good. Now I'm curious. We've got a cordless DeWalt here. Let's see if it runs. Yeah. Battle to the death. This thing just...
It doesn't sound as powerful. Did you notice that? When he ran... Okay, listen to side by side. Listen to the rigid sander.
On a sander. And this one you really do. I definitely don't like that button. It's hard to hold. So a random orbit should orbit randomly. So it's not just turning, which is good. Now I'm curious.
Listen
We've
to
got
DeWalt.
a cordless DeWalt here. Let's see if it runs.
Listen to how much more powerful that DeWalt is. Big difference. Listen to this thing kick on.
We've got a cordless DeWalt here. Let's see if it runs. Yeah.
So much more powerful.
This thing just... Not terrible. It's just really big. It's bulky. A lot of grab. Literally is incapable of...
You can, like, Listen to how low the motor sounds. Okay, listen to this.
Not terrible. It's just really big. It's bulky.
How low that sounds. Now listen to the DeWalt.
We've got a cordless DeWalt here. Let's see if it runs. Yeah.
Hear how much higher the pitch is for that DeWalt? That DeWalt is so much more powerful. This thing sounds like it's got maybe half or a third the power of that DeWalt. Well, yeah, Mose, that's what I'm wondering too. Is the battery already dying? Which was a big complaint for most people, is that the battery only lasted like 5 fucking minutes.
Really is incapable of sanding this. Not a great sander for sure. Got all the marks off of this 1 foot piece. That took way too long. It did eat up a whole bar of battery. So it's jumping.
Okay, so it only went down 1 bar. It had 3 bars, so it's not that it was low on battery. The battery was like half full. And it still had, like, no power. Like, absolutely no power.
In between 1 and 2. It definitely sucks up a lot of battery. I mean, that was maybe 3 minutes of runtime to get this, like, little area done. I mean, you could blame the paper. Let's see how much dust it collected. It did a decent job picking dust up off the surface, which is solid. It's just ergonomically not a very pleasant tool. It's really tall. Rigid tools typically aren't very ergonomic. 1 star, probably gonna have to say that it's a 1.75. Next, coming in at 119 bucks, we've got this Ryobi 1 cordless 3/8 inch impact. Are they calling it a wrench or driver? Wrench. Reading the reviews on this sucker, pretty much every single one of them says not enough power, not enough power, not enough power.
Not enough power.
Shit's weak. And it doesn't come with a battery. That's a pretty hefty price, I think. Also, this thing looks used.
How much did you say you paid for it? 119 bucks. And no battery.
Who would buy tools and return them? Fully charged battery? And I think you guys know exactly how we're gonna test this. To the Ranger! So going over all of the reviews, we've got not enough power. Salesman lied to me. Weak product, had to resort to other methods. Just a single star, no comment. 3/8 didn't have enough power.
This impact wrench needs a lot of power. And listen to his test thing here.
Exactly how we're gonna test this. To the Ranger!
That didn't sound, just off my ears, that did not sound like it had a whole lot of, it didn't sound like it had a whole lot of ass behind it on that trigger pull. That did not sound good.
No comment. 3/8 didn't have enough power to do what I needed it to do, and they weren't changing tires. So we're obviously gonna change tires. That's our best option. A bonus? What do we got here? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Are these 1-star reviewed anti-scratch all-day comfort outdoor glasses? What makes you think that I don't come prepared with my own anti-scratch all-day comfort crystal clarity outdoor glasses for safety and for shop use?
Do you have a pair?
Of course I do. These are our brand new Shop Shades tinted and transition lenses so that you can work inside and outside looking this awesome with crystal clarity and all-day comfort. They just went on pre-sale. I'm telling you, they're gonna sell out quick. If you wanna be rocking something this awesome, check them out now. Also, watch this, magic trick. Yes. How cool is that? You go outside, it's a little bit sunny, still see, still clear, still awesome. How freaking sweet are transitions? I didn't even know these things existed. So as you guys know, we love working on the Ranger. This old girl, she's suited Sam well for a long time. There's nothing better suited than a returned brand new Ryobi impact wrench to try it on. Are you ready, Joe?
We're ready.
We're on high speed, here we go. The Ranger never stands a chance. Literally never.
It worked.
Sam, why is every bolt come off the Ranger?
We tried. I tried.
I mean, it worked, but this is apparently a shitty truck that's had its bolts on and off 6,000 times, so.
Joe's volunteering his truck. It has standard lugs. Do you think someone would potentially cancel us in the comments for using chrome 12.3/8-inch sockets?
Everything about this is gonna be upsetting.
Worth canceling?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Joe's truck wasn't built in the United States like mine. It's got those metric lugs on there.
Move this man!
Sadly, this is a 3/8 nut. We don't have anything that's 3/8 big enough to take off full-size truck's wheels.
Oh.
I mean, this thing came out of the box used. It worked fine on the Ranger, so I'm calling it a 2.5 star. Next. Up next, we've got a
All right. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't get a good test out of that. So it's like he did one test on that Ranger whose lug nuts have been probably on and off a shit ton of times. I would have liked to have seen an actual test. Like, beyond that one vehicle. That one vehicle was not enough to gauge whether or not it's worth it. Unfortunately, I don't know. I can't make an educated decision based on that one test.
Porter Cable palm nailer. Now, what's curious to me is I'm pretty sure Porter Cable's no longer in business. If they are, sorry Porter Cable, but they used to make some awesome shit. All of the reviews, all of them, air comes out the back. Died after 2 jobs. Air blows out of it. Air leaks. Air doesn't work. 59 bucks. This guy said it's defective out of the package. Compressed air comes straight out of the back. Please, Porter, take this off the market and save us all the frustration. Well, my friend, they took themselves completely off the market because, like I said, I think they're completely done. I think they phased into one of the other brands that's owned at one of these other stores now. So looks like I'm gonna have to cut this sucker open. She's mine forever, no return. Let's see if she works. Remember when I was talking in the last video, I was like, if you're not tearing you off your fingernails and hurting yourself to open one of those, it wasn't packaged properly. Okay, so first off, the thing is super small, which is cool. If you're not familiar, a palm nailer like this is intended to be used in places that regular hammer can't fit. So I'm gonna pull an air hose over. We've got some nails. Let's see if she works. Nope.
Is it? Oh, it's owned by Black & Decker now? Oh. So they may have kept the name. They may have kept the name, it's just under the Black & Decker brand. So Porter Cable as a brand may still exist. It's just under the umbrella of Black & Decker now is what you guys are saying. Okay.
All right, we got a few nails here and airline. First things first, does it leak? No leaks. It said it was leaking out the back. Something I did notice though, and I'm not familiar with this tool like intensely, is that supposed to be offset? If you look, not perfectly, it's not in the center. I don't know what that means. Common application for this would probably be a 2x4. All you gotta do is that. It is kind of scary. It literally sounds like a gunshot.
It is kind of nuts.
But I mean, it's working. Completely buries it fast too. Super sensitive.
You know what? Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. You know, obviously you have to, be careful in June because these are going off center and this one punched off through the side. It's a really interesting idea and it seems like it's working. Like, well, and Big Dog, like the no handle is like you say, this is something to be used where you're in like a tight little space where you can't you've got a hammer something in and you're in a very tight space. You can't get a large tool into that tight space to do the work, i.e. swinging the hammer or using a nail gun is too big and you need something small, compact to just get in there and drop it in. And it's doing the job. It is doing the job pretty decently, it seems like.
Now I wonder if that's common with these. Blows a lot of air into your hand, but it's really compact, goes as fast as I'll push it. I gotta be honest, I think the people that were bitching just got a bad one. This thing's rules. I'm giving it 4 stars, baby. Let's go.
It's your highest rated,
pretty cool.
Highest rated ever. I mean, the thing works perfect. It's exactly as advertised. I can't run 1,000 friggin', nails to give it a proper review, but for the sake of this jackassery that we're doing here, 4. Next, and last but certainly not least, is this $40 car jack. from Husky.
Oh, boy.
I don't buy a lot of car jacks, so I'm not very familiar, but I feel like 40 bucks is an absolute steal. Can someone please let me know? With all of that being said, there's some gems in here. First, I never used the jack. It was stored in a truck toolbox. I tried to use it for the first time this past weekend, and it spilled the hydraulic oil everywhere from Caballero on December 28th, 2022. Hopefully he wasn't outside in the dead of winter and that happened to him. That would suck. I will be returning it this week. It is the second one that they've bought, and it will not hold pressure. It's a shitty brand. Not a good brand. Shitty was my words. And my favorite, from someone else named John, from January 1st, 2021. The weld-on for the bracket that holds the wheels broke while lifting a car. The car dropped and the jack slid out. Luckily, I had wood blocks under the car so that it didn't fall all the way to the ground. Returning it was super easy though, so that's a high point. John, the only way we can test such an incredible review is by jacking.
That would be scary as fuck. For your jack to suddenly give way. Yeah, like especially like, okay, now I will bring it up. If you're getting a small compact jack, then $40 maybe would seem like it's okay. For one of these trolley style jacks, yeah, 40 bucks should be an immediate red flag. You see, if you see one of these style of car jacks and you see $40 price tag, you should immediately be suspicious. Be like, yeah, no, I'm not fucking with that. Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about gun nailing still.
Picking up the Ranger. We're going back outside, baby. Let's go.
He actually pulled it inside.
He pulled it inside?
Yeah.
Oh, he pulled the Ranger inside. Let's go. Out the box, it doesn't look very used. Usually new tools don't look used, Joe, but last tool was 100% used. There was no question about it. Okay, this thing's tiny. It's 2-ton, 4,000-pound lift capacity, and it's a 5 to 13-inch lift range. I do believe this goes over here, give you a little bit of maneuverability handling it. I don't know a lot about car jacks, but what I do know is that this should be all we have to do to get it to work.
Yep.
There we go. On a lot of jacks, the pressure valve is actually in the handle, so you can jack it up and down. Look at this baby.
I like it. It looks like a nice little...
Yeah, the reviews say that it just completely loses pressure.
Wait, Heckle, really? Your streamer friend bought a house and half her house foundation was being held up with car jacks? Oh my god. Did she file a lawsuit, I hope? Like, was her first action to evacuate, and then her second one to call a lawyer? I fucking hope. Like, whoa, yeah, like if you're buying a house, you have your own inspector go through and inspect that fucking house. Abso-fucking-lutely. Fucking hell. Yeah, Kilroy, to raise the house, if you're doing you need to jack the house up to add onto it. They literally just had the foundation sitting on jacks when she bought it, not when they were modifying it. That's what Heckle's saying. Oh, God. Like, Heckle, she needs to call a lawyer. She 100% needs to call a fucking lawyer.
And it's dropped multiple cars, and people have come very close to dying.
Taking all that out of account, aesthetically, it looks like a nice jack, though.
First pump, it did its job. The only true test of a jack like this is to make the second pump the Ranger pump. Oh, no. It only goes 13 inches, and the rest of us actually own real trucks. Those are more than 13 inches off the ground.
Funny, I feel like my fake truck does a lot more work than your...
So this jack only works on cars. It doesn't even work on trucks because a truck sits too high. That's a problem. If you own a truck and bought this, you are shit out of luck. Because the jack doesn't go high enough to actually lift the truck.
Oh, it sure does. I've got the prettiest, least used truck in the lot, baby.
You said it goes 13 inches?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Oh, we could definitely, you could hook it on this jacking point. It'll go up.
Would you like to do the honors?
Yeah.
Please protect your eyes while you do so. Okay, see that little knob on the bottom right? They take the arm out, the arm that you're using to pump. Now put it on that little knob and turn it all the way to the right. Now she's good to go. Now protect your body by being outside of the Ranger and outside of that bird shit on the Ranger.
Hi,
I think
Torrentio.
you missed, no?
I guess we could go under. We'll probably get it higher. I was gonna say there's this little jacking point here.
Whoop! She's going up. She's working. I just gotta say that's the shortest arm I've ever seen on a jack. Is it releasing pressure?
Yeah, we maxed her out. She is releasing pressure. Be careful.
Yeah.
I could try getting it under that arm. Can I do that?
Yeah, give it another jack. Why not? We're just jacking off the Ranger. What did he say? Things working.
Okay. That one was deserved. Yeah, Zed, I would also. That would, notice the front wheels. Hang on. Notice the front wheel of the jack is off the ground. This is literally off the fucking ground right now. And Dragon, thank you for the tier 1 3 months in advance. Thank you so much. Yeah. This would terrify me. There's a part in the middle pushing it up. What? Wait, what? What are you talking about, Zeb? I don't think there's any part in the middle. Not on this one. You're thinking, Zeb, that there's something in the middle that's raising the jack off the ground. Not this one, I don't think. I think it's literally going off kilter. I don't think there's actually anything underneath it. It's supposed to have the front wheels up, you think? Maybe? I don't know.
Pretty decent. I mean, for 40 bucks in a pinch, you need to jack up your...
No. She just released it. This wheel is still off the ground. He released it. That wheel is off the ground, I think. Look, you can see its reflection. You can see its reflection right there. That wheel is not touching surface.
Your truck does only have a 13-inch throw, though, so it'd be much more for a car.
Yeah, what is the... okay, that's what it's for?
I don't know, Sam. This is the first jack I've ever bought.
The smallest floor jack I've ever seen.
I wonder why you would use this over the jack in your car.
I mean, the jack...
Because it's not a scissor?
Yeah, those scissor jacks, I mean, they take forever to crank up. A lot of cars now, I know...
He's absolutely right about that. Okay, so it has wheels, so it's easier to slide underneath the vehicle and get it into position. That's why a jack like this, it has wheels. Because the standard scissor jacks, you really have to crawl under there to place it, and then trying to get it up is such a pain in the ass because you literally have to crank the scissor jack. Whereas this one, it's a hydraulic, so it's a hell of a lot easier to get the car lifted. So that's why a lot of people would prefer these.
I don't know if they're back to putting jacks in them, but there was a while Ford, they did not put jacks in cars anymore. They
it's
just
on 2 wheels.
They gave you a little air compressor that would plug into your cigarette lighter.
What the f***?
Yeah. Because, chat, that's what mine has. I have an air compressor. My car came with an air compressor to refill my tire. I'm not 100% sure that my car comes with a jack. Yeah, I think mine comes with a puncture repair kit and an air compressor. I don't know that now, yet. I would need to look, and it's too cold for me to go look. It might have a jack, but
Right after the Chrysler and GM got bailed out, Ford's like, you know what? Where's it gonna cut some tires too?
All right, Ranger, get big. Get swole. There you go.
I've
Can we
changed
get a
the
tire
tire
off the
before,
ground?
Brandon.
Can we get a tire? Go, baby.
Yeah, okay. Notice.
Right after the
Watch the wheel.
Chrysler and GM got
Watch
bailed
the
out.
wheel.
Ford's
The
like, you know
wheel.
what?
So,
We're gonna
okay,
cut some
maybe this
tires
is
too.
deliberate.
All right, Ranger, get big. Get small.
Because now
There
that
you go.
wheel's on the
Can
ground.
we get a
So
tire off
maybe
the
it
ground?
being off
Can
center
we
like
get
that is
a
deliberate.
tire? Go, baby. Go. Go. Husky! Yes. We're going to take that. That thing, $40. It didn't fail. The Ranger's jacked up now, looking like some real man sauces on her.
I
All
don't
right,
know,
hold on.
maybe
For
Kilroy.
the first time in Unscrewed
Hang on. I don't know. Those front wheels look like they're even. These look like they're normally even.
time in
don't know.
Unscrewed history, we have controversy.
We want to be honest with you.
Sam just pulled this out from underneath the truck. Look at this. It is completely bent.
I was right. I was right. It wasn't supposed to look like that. So I was correct. This was canted up and off the ground. So I wasn't crazy. That wasn't a feature. It was a failure. Yep. Okay. And yeah, exactly, big dog. You would not want to have this thing being the only thing supporting it while you're cranking on a lug nut. Correct.
It literally lifted one vehicle one time, the whole body bent. That's gonna downgrade this to a 0.85 star, lower than a 1 star. Valid reviews, piece of shit. Let me know, what tools should we be reviewing next and what store?
So I wasn't crazy.
I wasn't expecting Ember to say she had black.
Ah, oh. Symbols defeated you, Revan. Too bad the TTS failed you. And I'm not gonna say what was in that TTS either. Even though I know about the brand that you were telling me about. Oh, they make some quite lovely tools. Gray matter.